Teacher of logic, Dr. Deacon, Ananias. Teacher of logic, teacher of logic, Dr. Deacon, Ananias. Teacher of logic, Dr. Deacon, Ananias. Teacher of logic, Dr. Deacon, Ananias. Teacher of logic. Another good lecture, another good lecture, another good lecture, another good lecture. Another good lecture, 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 another good lecture.
The bell is rung, and class is now in session. Broadcasting coast to coast from beautiful Montana. Put your chin in your hand and think along with your resident professor of philosophy, Father Dr. Deacon Ananias Sora.
Hello! How's the audio? Hello, everybody. Blessed fast for those in the old calendar, new calendar. You guys been on for a while, but God bless all of you. Just 1 second here. I've got to... Good? What say we? What say you? Welcome to the Nightly News. Is it, I haven't been on streaming for a while. So, I haven't kind of updated. The, the audio on this. So, when I was testing it, it was a little bit kind of echoey, sounding, but is it good? Volume's good. I need your help. A little quiet. Yeah, let's turn it up. All right, how's that? Better? Part of the problem is if I turn it up too much, it will kind of make them more echoey. Okay for you? Good? I'll try to get back to doing more streams. Okay, great. Everybody says. Pano says great. Good to see some wrenches out there. I'm sure we will get some trolls tonight. I'm doing something new. And by the way, the trolls come. You wrenches are in charge of keeping it safe and clean. Yeah, a little bit of echo. So I apologize. So next time I'll try to get better. I've done it before. You know my volume and my, yes. Slavatsiye. The baritone Russian. The doors, wisdom, let us attend. Well, tonight I'm just going to recite the litany for... in my baritone Russian deacon voice. Well, let's do some Nightly Nous. I'm open for, I know, endless audio issues, right? Because I never had the blessing. I got a house blessing, but not a blessing of my audio equipment to remove the demons of sound. As Chuck Yeager says in The Right Stuff, the demon is sound. There are many demons. They are demons of sound, and they endlessly afflict me. Lord have mercy. So tonight I'd like to just pull up my capture. Let's do some news. Let's have some fun. I can take some questions too. Now I'm going to have to be careful about some of this news. It's just not deacon appropriate? Let's go to Twitter. You want to do this? Is going to be fun. No! I lost you. I can't see. Let me put it on real quick. Bam! There you go. Now you see how many millions of windows I have up. All right, what's happening? It says on Twitter. Well, let's look and see. Here's a good one. Holy Apostle St. Jude Thaddeus, pray for us, says, how do Protestants, Orthodox, and Sedevacantists explain papal miracles? And then, of course, our boy Solid Kvass says, the same way the saints always explain miracles among heretics. I told you this is going to be fun. But a lot of these bring up really good questions. Yeah, we love Solid Kvass. If you see this, thumbs up. Keep up the good work, son. But remember what Scripture says, unless miracles accompany correct theology, then... Oh, I'm back here. Sorry. Then they mean nothing. All kinds of religions can do and perform miracles. And I'll quote my priest here. You know, as Orthodox, we don't believe in miracles, right? Did you know that? I'm going to go back real quick and come back to the camera and see what you're all saying. How many of you know that we Orthodox don't believe in miracles? We believe in the God who does the miracles. Miracles can just be signs, and there's all kinds of false signs as well. But if there's a sign in the roadway pointing out, 20 miles to whatever city, if you remove that sign, does it mean the city no longer exists? We believe not in miracles, but the God who does them. So again, we're not going to base our whole thing on our faith and apologetics on miracles. The papists do that. They love to take advantage of that. And yeah, Panos says, Christ said not to be impressed by his own miracles either. Good point. We believe in God, the God who does miracles. And usually those miracles are not for us, but for those around us. Think about Lazarus, Christ's friend, dies and he mourns. And a miracle is performed with Lazarus. He's raised from the dead. But was the miracle really for Lazarus? Well, Lazarus is going to die again. So he was raised to have a second death. The miracle was done for all those in the community around him. But again, look, we see in the Old Testament too, the pagans doing miracles. So I don't put much into it. Great. Let's go back. Great points on that. I told you it's going to be some good stuff. Should we look through the comments and just see what other people say too? Because those are always fun too. Why don't we? Capture? Bam. Alrighty. Well, Wes says anyone who's read Scripture or the lives of saints knows the answer to this one. I think we already kind of talked about that. What papal miracles are you referring to? If your faith... These are great comments. Good Twitter content right here. If your faith is based on supposed signs and wonders and not on sound doctrine, isn't this exactly what we said? You're asking to be deceived, especially if miracles seem to testify in the favor of the teacher of false doctrine. Great. And he provides a quote from Scripture. Then if any man shall say to you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, do not believe him. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and show great signs and wonders, inasmuch as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Good point. Well, this guy is, but he seems to be solidly orthodox. This isn't carte blanche, discount all miracles. Dude. Okay. But again, I'm skeptical of anything out of the Ark of Salvation, which is the Orthodox Church. So, signs and wonders, again, by heretics and those outside the Orthodox Church, don't do anything for me. Probably the same way Papists explain Protestant Orthodox miracles. Here's a great one. Same way I deal with Fatima, connecting Fatima and UFOs. Yeah, right, exactly. Crazy. I mean, look, there's personal miracles that I've gone through, but there was never, that led me to orthodoxy. It wasn't that I just read through all the books and punched into my scientific-o-meter 3000 right here. Beep, beep, beep. Womp, 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 womp. Is it true? Invalid. It's invalid. Oh, this one's good. This one, sound doctrine right here. Science-o-matter 3000 says that is sound doctrine. That's not how I did it. But it is, as we were speaking about, that there were personal miracles because abstract theological facts alone weren't enough to do anything. Now, does that mean... So they were coupled together. Correct theology with miracles. God does miracles. That's true. But it doesn't mean everything that appears as a miracle actually is. How do we know? We go to correct doctrine. What the apostles preached, the fathers held, and what the councils have declared, right? Flannery O'Connor. Yeah. Okay, you want to go back? Yeah, they could be demons too. Sorcerers. Prelist itself, right? To fall into Prelist and be oohed and awed with wonders and signs. Look at this magician. He must be true. All right, let's go back. Here's another Bible verse. But one of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest, said to them, You know nothing at all. You know nothing. Nor do you take into account that it's expedient for you that one man die for the people, and the whole nation perish. Let's go on. Let's see, what was the original question again? How do Protestants Orthodox? Yeah. Just ignore them. That's one way. I just ignore them. Okay. Depends on who you're talking to. Some Orthodox accept that there's still some grace in the Catholic Church. Now, I should say, too, because this brings up a certain point that I should clarify. God does work miracles outside of the Orthodox Church. Why? Because if he didn't, none of y'all would probably converted. If it was just kept inside, right? And if God never kind of worked outside of the boundaries of the church to bring people in, then there wouldn't be any converts. So, God's God, and he can reach somewhere, anywhere, despite their Protestant. This is what I always say, people ask, will people be saved outside of the Orthodox Church? The Orthodox Church is the sole means to salvation. God is God. What do we say over in liturgy over and over? A good God who loves mankind. He can do whatever he wants. It's his he sets up, it's his prerogative. So he could save Protestants. He could save Roman Catholics. He could save a Buddhist. He could save a Hindu. The way I always put it, it wouldn't be in virtue of their Protestantism or Roman Catholicism, but despite it. That's a good way. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. It's right, dangerous waters. Like you don't. Oh, it's God. He could do whatever. So I'm actually going to do and be in the wrong place or do the wrong things. No. So again, the description, here's another description versus prescription category. The description is God and he can do whatever he wants. The prescription for salvation is the Orthodox Church. There is nothing else prescribed. This is what God prescribed. So it kind of relates exactly to what we're talking about there. Should we go back? So that was just to kind of give some qualification on this. Is there grace? Well, there's not sacramental grace outside of the Orthodox Church. Is there any grace or sanctity and people being ignorant and trying the best where they're at? I'm like, sure, again, God is present everywhere and fills all things, and he's calling all into the ark, right? So it's unclear what that means, grace. God's grace is everywhere, right? The very fact that even reprobates are in existence and are not destroyed is a grace of God, right? Sacramental grace? No, absolutely not. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up. Here's a good one. Augustine attributes miracles to false religions as heretics too. Right on, St. Augustine. Good call. Let's see. Do you want to move on? What do you guys... Is this enough? Should we check out other news? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. How many people do we have in here? 34? That's because I don't stream. I used to be up in the 100. And I fall for grace. Yeah, I'm just trying to mix it up. Do some fun stuff that's kind of a wider appeal. Yeah, I could go through the epistemology and logic stuff. The Sellers, the John McDowell. But let's mix it up once in a while. 34 ain't bad. 43. Look at that. Panos says 34, and it jumps to 45. Oh, you know what I didn't? I should have posted this the other day. It was kind of a weird day. I had, so if you look on the subscribers, 7.88. I think the algorithm's been bearing stuff. It should be going, it's just kind of plateaued. But like a week ago, I kid you not, I had 7,777 emails right when Patristic Faith reached 7.77K subscribers. Almost convinced me of Gematria right there. Almost got me, Satan, but you didn't. Why 7 though? But we do know, there is significance to numbers without falling into Gematria or like geomancy or numerology. 7 is the number of completion. It signifies as kind of a perfection. Gematria Nous. Oh, the other one that I was thinking about, instead of the Nightly Nous, no, K-N-O-W, more noose, is just a jab at Adam Green's No More News. I'm open to like other ones, just play on words like with noose and news. I said to my wife, the Daily Nous, but she's like, oh, you have to do one every day. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. Real Nous. What would some other ones be? Man, there's some good ones in this Twitter. I'm glad we're doing this. All right, I'm going to switch back over to virtual news. Oh, that's you guys. I need to switch over to the Twitter. Womansplainer says, guys believing the earth is greater than 6,000 years old is non-conflict with believing Genesis to be true. Okay, this is Zen Shapiro. Is Zen Shapiro in the house? Gotta get him into, since common prot lose. Basically saying truth of young earth or old earth is subjective. Wrong! Yeah, let's see who else jumps in on. It's a good one. The age of the earth is a stance independently true, objective, and nothing... Oh, maybe it isn't good. She said contradicts that. She's just saying that both views are compatible with Genesis. Is it? Is it? How do we know? Zen Shapiro chimes in and says, no, both views are not compatible with Genesis because Genesis clearly teaches only one of them. Of course, you just get the same responses. Number one, the way the days are listed, they're not necessarily 24 hours because what translates morning, evening is more chaos in order. No, it's an allegorical story. No, depends what you mean by allegory. Two, the order in which the animals were created contradicted scientific thought. Uh-oh. Contradicted my scientifical matter 3000. No. How old is the earth? It's like those things when kids, they total occultic cubes, right? Like, am I gonna date Janie? Right? And it's like you'd shake the 8-ball and it would come up. Contradict the scientific matter 3000, right up to Darwin and modern paleoanthropology, where we found that birds did come before the mammals. Science, ladies and gentlemen. That's science. Can't argue with science. Either young Earth or old Earth creation could be compatible with Genesis. Do you think only one is viable? Apologetics says, I do. Having said that, I believe that those who hold an old Earth creation position can be Christians. Yeah, maybe we take a position like that. Are there certain things as a Christian and Orthodox you could be wrong about and still be Orthodox? Sure. What are your... Let's go to the chat and see, what are your thoughts on this? Fake news. Yeah, that one's a good one. And again, part of the issue too is this kind of Protestant exegesis and mentality of we'll just go to the text and just see what the text means. It's like, well, we Orthodox don't do that. We don't take pieces out of the whole and then pretend that it's the whole and then use that as our hermeneutic device for interpreting the rest of everything else. So, as Panna points out, we read, interpret, and scriptures according to the fathers in the liturgy, right? In pastoral care, right? And the practicing out and working kind of holistically the way the Orthodox Church does. So that's a great point. No, quote mining isn't a virtue. Good. Go back to the Word of God. By the way, Jay did a great debate. We'll probably see some of that posted on Twitter with Pastor Pete, Grandmaster Pastor Pete. And again, as I always say, the Word of God isn't just this. The Word of God. The Word of God. What do we call icons? Theology and images. The songs. The Psalms. The Eucharist. All the things in the Orthodox Church are the Word of God. So yes, amen, brother. We go to the Word of God, and we don't limit that to simply the Holy Scriptures too. So great point. Okay, let's see what else we got. Let's go back to the news. The Nightly Nous. You know, Bruce Seraphim Foltz, Dr. Foltz, he nailed it when we were in a conference once. And if you haven't got some of his books, it's really good. He's a great Heidegger scholar, an Orthodox ecology as well. And dear friend of Dr. David Bradshaw, who will all be together in Volos, Greece in January, thanks to your support. I just want to thank you so much that I reached my goal, and I will be going to IOTA to stick with the good guys, right? To fight the good fight. It's a huge conference, 350 speakers alone. Right? That's not including the attendees from 50 different countries. And I couldn't have done that without you. So thank you so much for your charitable contributions. Speaking of which, you can always throw in a super chat there if you want. The links and if somebody with a wrench, one of the mods could throw that in for people, that'd be great too. That goes to help supporting patristic faith, keeping the site running, and paying my IT dude Chase. It's not just me. It's a lot of people need your help on patristic faith. So thank you, and thank you for your support. But let's see here. He had said, Dr. Bruce Foltz had mentioned that, and nailed it with this kind of like the idea of presuppositions coloring the way that we see things. He had challenged somebody, like the audience at the conference. Let's assume, for the sake of the argument, the earth is roughly 6,000 years old. Would it change the way that you see nature? Because remember, he's talking about ecology. I mean, even the way that I view the trees and the mountain, like all of nature. And Dr. Foltz isn't a presuppositionalist. He's a great philosopher, but he nailed it. I was like, I'd never thought about that way. You start with that presupposition and everything looks different. The way that you approach nature it's really interesting. So that's something to think about when kind of going through these arguments too. Thank you, Piano. The camera's bad? Is it? What do all you say about the camera? Let me look and see what. Look at it. Looks great to me. I don't know, with the rest of you, like, let me look on the YouTube and see what. Camera's good. You guys are always messing with me. You know what it's called? It's called mind games. Head games. Which is what I play every day in philosophy class. Yeah? Alright, let's... Chris V. Johnson, my UCD... By the way, I have to have the PhD one framed, but Chris V., I'm going through clean stuff, and this was the master's one, so you recognize... It's so great that they put it in Latin. I have a frame, but my wife said we need matching frames for the bachelor's, the master's, and the PhD. Hello, Nick. Good evening to you. Okay, got it. Shall we? Do you want to go to a new topic? Do we have enough on? Got a lot of news to cover tonight. All right, let's go back, shall we? Twitter says for me to... we should do a poll. Twitter says for me to follow Michael Lofton with Reason and Theology. Oh, it's a parody. Should we? I think we actually should follow. How do I do the poll in the chat? Should I? How do I do this? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Yes, here we go. I haven't done this before, so one second. All right. There you go, lads. Let's see what you have to say as we go back. Can you get a bachelor apartment? Why can't I see the... Is this serious? Ooh, 56 say yes, 44% no. Let's see if that changes in the next few minutes. And I can't follow too many people, otherwise my ratio, that's awesome right now, will go away and I'll lose. Let's look at the poll. 64%, 30%, 6%. I think that's good. But we only have 11 votes. How many people do we have in here? 27? %. Got 12 votes. Ooh, end poll. And we are going to follow. And there is the have I put that up yet on the YouTube? I was in the process of uploading it. The debate review. The Jay Sneck and David did of Ubi and Militant Thomist. But let's just go back. Let's see what else we can find. Oh, we missed 152 tweets. Oh. Whoa! Who do we have us here? Klaus Schwab's? I don't know who the rest of these jokers are, but there you go. The World Economic Forum. What else do we have here? Oh, this one's great. We gotta see this. Jay Dyer says, indeed, they're atheism factories. Just a casual, hey man, just a casual Christmas worship service in Texas. What? Signs and wonders, ladies and gentlemen. Signs and wonders. There you go. So there's some miracles of technology right there. Was that enough to convince you that evangelical Protestantism is true? No, not for me. Trending, the CIA. Interesting. Let's just go. Some of this stuff I'm going to have to is too raunchy for us to. Yeah, let's see. Got another one here. Somebody posting. Got Jay Dyer again. There is, you know who, something about David Lynch could go down as one of the greatest presidents in history. Is still an unbelievable Trump quote. I don't know what that means. Is that right? Is that true? What is this? What is he saying here?
David Lynch could go down as one of the greatest presidents in history.
What? Is that a deep fake? Y'all know who David Lynch is, right? Yeah, CIA's training via the CIA. Yes, Jay Dyer's on patristic faith. He is the dude. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over the Twitter first, so I'm not just scrolling through in case there's indecent pictures that often are, or things. It's just the world's so crazy right now. It's just, it's not boring, I'll tell you that, but it's just, I never thought like 10, 20 years ago the world would be like this. And so, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do some censoring because we are a Christian audience, primarily Orthodox here, patristic faith. So, I don't want to scandalize anybody with the raunchy stuff that's just everywhere, just crazy stuff. Here's one. Here's another friend of ours here that we should share. Our good friend, Jim Jotras, who's also on patristic faith. He says, the unclean spirit of Pachamama, Sisi, the Great Reset, interfaith, ecumenism, climate cult lives on in COP2 7. Bad enough to expect this from... Yeah, exactly. That's a lot of the stuff that's going on that I didn't really want to have to like cover for several reasons. But I mean, that stuff will get your channel banned too. I'm sure we'll come across the yeast stuff. I'm just gonna and Fuentes. I'm just gonna skip over that too because that will get me in trouble as well. Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that, so it's not this stuff that's the sin, not this stuff, not Pachamama, it's global warming. Such a scam. I mean, and you know what? How does anybody fall for this stuff? Science, right? A lot of it is, again, it's just a big grift and con. And the only way people fall for cons is they trust people, right? So what does our society trust? The scientists and academics. So where do you think this is all pushed? It's like, hands down, go to any university or college, even all the ones that I've worked at, and it's like 99% are just like on board with this. Why? It's what we all believe. Brondo, it's what plants need. What is Brondo? Well, what plants need, right? And these people believe in it, right? Because it's a brainwashing machine, an institution. And the worst of them are the professors and academics too, right? Because they take themselves too seriously. They really think they're that important, right? They've gone through the same system, and they're in an echo chamber where it's like, climate change, of course, climate change, right? Like the coof, right? Everybody's got to get the jab. Well, yeah, that's science, right? So that's where it's being funded. The endowments, right? The lectures, and the Vatican. Use religion. What do? Use religion, media, actors. Now we're using soccer players. Right? Now you musicians, actors, soccer players, the World Cup, the university, to spread the grift and the cons. And that's one thing that I love about philosophy, is considered, as a science of thinking correctly and critically about all things. And I have fun with my students by giving them this, because it's in some sense it's true. Think about each philosopher is a really smart con artist, and they're going to try to sell you on something. There's sorcery with words. Spot the con. Now, playing this kind of game going through really helps you to kind of think critically. And so this kind of skepticism and critical thinking is really good. So, it doesn't always happen with philosophy professors and philosophy departments, unfortunately. As one friend had written me that they're atheists. Factories themselves. So philosophy can be done wrong, but in a critical sense, and a good sense, to think critically would help people to see through. Think about it this way: spot the con. Oh, there he is. I spotted the con. There he is. Bingo. What else do we have? Spot the con right there. Feitzer. So you have found to have misled the public over child coof waxes, stabbies. 242 con. Right. What? These are the funny ones. What? Like the craziest thing, like coping and stuff. People are. Not sure I'm going to open that. What? Oh, Dalai Lama. Yeah, exactly. Consider the source, and this is trash. I knew it. Here we go. Suppose it were. Does it make the argument false? I mean, the thing is, these people always have a response. You give them an NBC or a Washington Post article and be like, oh, I thought you don't agree with... It's like you've never heard of a reductio ad absurdum. You can't use that one. That one's doesn't count. Satan, look at this. What the heck? Satan's trending. Surprise, surprise. And the Catholic Church. And a cocaine bear. This is like the setup for a bad joke. What does Satan, the Catholic Church, and a cocaine bear all have in common? Well, in this case, Twitter, right? Going... What the heck? Going back... So this guy thinks he's good at arguing and he's calling out. This guy has 8 comments on and use wet gel in your hair. You're so bad at arguing. You have to distract from the issues by commenting on my hair. It's hilarious. Check notes. Yeah, hair is still bad. Okay, so here's another. So, I mean, again, it's just easy to find. Like, it's not as if one news source that you don't like isn't going to cover this. Here you got the Telegraph, Fierce Pharma, Tech Times. There you go. So that's one of their. Yeah, look at this. This is exactly it. Them. Show me proof. Sends proof. Them. You're a conspiracy theorist. Oh man, Twitter is so good. Sometimes. But that's the idea. Don't you get this exactly with the atheists? These arbitrary standards that set forward that can never justify. Well, I'm not believing anything is true or meaningful unless it can be empirically verified. Cannot be empirically verified. No. Where'd you come up with that one? Just make it up? Oh, we all took a vote. We're all in the Vienna Circle, and we're professors, so we make up the rules, right? We're the Vienna Circle, logical positives, and we came up for the standard that all of you are going to have to follow. And you can't question this. Remember I talked about this with scientific Gnosticism? Building a system that prohibits questioning. Well, wait a minute. Can you verify that empirically? You're not allowed to ask that question. Get him out of here. Or you do provide the evidence. That doesn't count. I write it off, right? And it's the same thing with this, right? It's a mind disease. It's an atheism and this type of scientism, too. What are your thoughts? I know I got an echo. I'm sorry. I turned up the volume in it. I can't fix it right now. That question's not allowed. In my scientific technocratic Gnosticism of the Nightly Nous, those sorts of questions are not allowed. Not because I built the operating system that way. Through my... Is it really bad? You mean to turn down the volume a little bit? It could be when I'm bringing up the mic like that. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. It might be something switching between the capture. Oop, you don't want PayPal. And this. That is an excellent point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about that? Better? I had the mic down on my capture. Could you guys hear it all when I was doing the Twitter captures? Because it looked like the... But you can hear it. What say you? You could hear it when I was reviewing the Twitter stuff, right? I would think so. We've been going on for nearly what? An hour, actually. So you're saying the echo comes... Okay, got it. All right, let's go back to Twitter. All right, if we go back and see what else is going on. Of course, we got the foreign language. What is that? Italian? Every country should be suing Pfizer. Yeah, well, that was made so it won't happen. This guy says the pendulum swinging back hard. Well, is it? You think so sometimes, and then these people, it's like everything, like their guys that come out and by their guys, I mean the ones that the other side trusts, like the CDC, the WHO, all their kind of news agencies and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, now they're admitting it's ineffective. You're to treat both jabbed and non-jabbed the same way. Was the guidelines, now the most recent guidelines, articles from their scientists that they trust saying that in fact it's dangerous, it was not effective. Well, we didn't know, right? What was the Atlantic article? Amnesty now, right? Yet there's these people that it's like as if they've never even heard, even on their own mainstream media and their dudes that they trust, that any of these people have said this stuff. So these people are just doubling down. And that's what's so amazing about me. For me, that I was thinking, oh, the pendulum swing, people are finding out. And maybe it's because we read stuff like this all over Twitter, and don't put ourselves in kind of echo chamber. There's like, there's multiple places of information and alternative media and stuff like that. But I was thinking that even the fact that it was in the mainstream media, I'm going to start getting apology letters now for being hated in my life attempted to be run for the last 2 years because clergy like myself have been writing and warning about this kind of stuff. No, these people double down like they haven't even heard this major cope. So I don't know, like, what are your guys' thoughts on, I don't know if the majority of people are waking up to this stuff. Yeah, that's exactly. I'm surprised they even asked for amnesty. Absolutely amnesty. But we in Orthodoxy believe in penance and consequences to one's actions. Forgiveness does not mean water under the bridge. Let's pretend like nothing ever happened. We don't even operate that way pastorally, right? Some of these people should be rounded up and tried for violating Nuremberg issues, but I say no. Yeah, I'll pray for your family, Crispy. And we can always do that. Never forget. Just keep praying. It's all in God's hands, right? And the thing is, too, don't get black-pilled. Think about it this way. We as Orthodox Christians think of everything from the end. Use the eschaton as your lenses to see everything that happens in the world. In other words, think about the Kuf and everything that we've gone through. What does that mean in the grand scheme of eternity? Right? In fact, all this stuff's going to be used for our salvation anyway. So that just personally kind of helps me not get black-pilled and get through. We are Christians, and we hope against hope. And we do not fear death. Fear is from the evil one. And it was really interesting because in the last homily, on the homily last Sunday, because we're talking about Jairus' daughter and the woman with the issue of blood who was going to die. Jairus' daughter dies. And there's fear. There's fear and death. And Christ comes and says she's not dead. She's sleeping, and everybody laughs at Christ. You know what I'm talking about, because she's obviously dead. And then he said, I love hearing this in the gospel when Christ is like, arise. It's just amazing. Arise, son. Arise from your spiritual death. Arise from our literal death. Christ is going to say, and the angels are going to come with trumpets in the end, arise. All will be raised. And so the last enemy was death, and Christ conquered it. As we have my, I was like, you share and tell. Christ conquers death. He's broken the gates of Hades. So now we die into the resurrection. We die into a passageway through death into eternal life. But we always have to fight fear. Fear the messages of the evil one and the demons. And Father had said on Sunday, and this is profoundly scary, so just we need to kind of embrace this so that we can prepare ourselves for death and knowing the temptations and the things, the attacks that are going to happen to us. The last thing whispered in your ear when you die by the demons is fear. Fear. You're dying. And that's a tremendous, sobering thought. So prepare yourself now that that's what the demons, the last thing that you're going to hear is you're dying fear. And we have to remind ourselves, I'm dying into Christ's resurrection. Christ says, peace, fear not. So anyways, enough preaching, but just kind of some words of encouragement and stuff as we're reading the Nightly Nous. Any questions? Where are you guys? Let's just see real quick if anybody's given some super chats so that I could read those off. If not, fear that you haven't. No, I'm kidding. Better fear that you haven't. Okay. Oh, nothing. Well, as St. Paul says, redeem the time. Send in those super chats. Offering time. Okay, well, shall we go back to the Daily Nous? How are we doing on people? 38. Nice. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys had a blessed Thanksgiving. Somebody said, was joking, oh, I guess you had to break the fast. I'm like, no, I didn't have to break the fast. I'm old calendar. We don't have to get a special dispensation to take Thanksgiving off. The fast starts today. That's why I'm so jazzed. Starting off right. They'll ask me in a couple of weeks how I'm doing. I'll be like, oh. But starting off good, the fast, excited. The Advent fast. 40 days in the desert. All right, let's go back to... Okay, I think it's enough on that one. So let's go... check out some more news. Jay Dyer says, turns out my trainer was MK Ultra handler. What? Is that for real? Let's see what the people have to say. Oh, whoa, dude, your trainer was MK Ultra handler too? So was mine. What are the odds, dude? That's amazing. Well, the Canadian version, I'm sure RCA had an MK program going on up there. No, MK Ultra did actually do a lot. It was combined. They used, if you study that. Yeah, well, here we go. Jay's saying what? MK Ultra was first in Canada. Exactly. We were doing... Always start in Canada. Crazy, man. I ain't watching it now, but we'll later. Okay, let's go back to and see what else we can find. Tristana. Yes, let's see, I told you. The Kanye stuff's trending. Yeah. Andrew, you in the house? Is Andrew might be, he's going to be streaming like 15 minutes on the Crucible. More Kanye. Tim Pool podcast. I haven't seen it. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, we already added that. More Tim Pool. Oh, this one was crazy. It's another one of these. Have you seen these? So watch this guy. And if you haven't seen Died Suddenly, go watch. This guy's some famous like Korean streamer or something like that. And then he dies. Lord have mercy. My theory on this, so people were like, oh, they're seeing demons, right? I don't know. Like we just talked about, everybody sees demons when they're dying. It's the last thing they whisper in your ear. Fear. You're dying. This is it. But the more I've watched these, it looks like this is when they're having the stroke. Right? They all turn in the same, they all kind of do the same kind of moments, right? Movements. So, which would be, typical blockages, stuff like that. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but, this stuff's been covered up. It's really sad. What are your guys' thoughts? How many of you seen that documentary, Died Suddenly? Yeah, they're all doing, I think it's like kind of like they're having like a stroke or a heart attack, like, and then they do that thing and fall. And the fact that they're doing, I've seen one guy like swatting at something, but the fact that they're basically doing all the same movement makes me think that it's like neurophysiological, like, or a heart attack, or let's see what else. Oh my gosh. This is so ridiculous, dude. This evil world. Alright, Lord have mercy. You guys ready? I just can't believe how far we've come. Look at this. Canadian retailer Simmons promotes assisted suicide new campaign. Talk about demonic.
Last breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life,
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
That's actually really, really sad. I mean, can you believe that? I mean, suffering is our way to salvate, like that, and God is the author and taker of life. Like to be able to do that. I mean, that's exactly what every demon wants you to do, is kill yourself. Oh, you shouldn't have to be able to suffer. That's what Christ did, right? Don't be a Christian. Don't suffer. Take the easy way. End yourself. Nobody. And this has become something really even big. Like even with like pain management and the whole opioid crisis and stuff. Everybody has a right not to suffer. Another made up thing. Like who came up with that? First of all, rights. Somebody should come up with a meme for me. Reject rights language. It's absolutely Enlightenment nonsense that's anti-Christian. Christians have duty. You have a duty to life. Embrace your suffering, right? God is allowing that. You're basically saying, by doing that, that's a curse God and die. There is no God. I'm God. And there's nothing redeemable in suffering. So end your life. Who talks like that? The devil does. That's what the demons. Way to go, Canada. And some of the like Netherlands and stuff like this. These people. Lord have mercy. Can you believe how sad that is? I'm sorry, that makes me angry. Alright, Mr. Minor. Sweet. Let's read Mr. Minor's. Wow. El Thriman di Vasito. $30. God bless you. God bless all of you. Mr. Minor donates $5. I'm sorry I'm from late. Could you speak on the difference between New Age conceptions of the soul and the nous? That's a great question. So, I mean, obviously then I would imagine the New Age is kind of tied into kind of a monism that like the New Age notion of the soul is part of the one, right? It's Gnostic too, so the The Maya, the illusion's the material world. It's the world of spirit, right? This is, that's where you are, that's where soul. But the notion also of an identity, an ego, is an illusion. So the idea of spirit, pure spirit, is one, and it's divine. It's the divine energy that goes through everything. By the way, I brought this up in class and actually showed some of Doctor Strange, and especially the scenes where Doctor Strange is, where is he? He's in a New Age cult out in the mountains in the Orient, right? And she's the guru. Teach him how to the astral self. So the astral self would probably be something like the New Age notion of soul, and that he projects and he's able to leave the kind of confines of the material body and the illusion, and then what? The multiverse, right? Like there's a million, infinite amount of multiverses and stuff like that. Now, the only thing I would say about Doctor Strange, though, is it doesn't seem to then go into the notion that all is one. Like there's clearly like different entities that are evil and good and stuff like that. But I would say that most kind of New Age, that it's pure spirit, your soul's a part of that, but you have kind of will that has separated it from the truth, and the truth is it's all one. So you got to return back to that. Now, what is the nous? Well, in Orthodox theology, it's not the soul. Again, there's this kind of tripartite. The soul is an immaterial aspect, the Greek word anima, that animates the body and is capable of, and it also is tied into, because you have a rational soul, that your intellect. And the way that I think about it is that, like, the nous is the heart of hearts. It's the pinnacle of, it's the kind of unity, the eyes of the soul, the eyes of the heart, this kind of thing, right? If that makes sense. Yeah, Mr. May says, in the ether. By the way, it's really interesting. In Pugliano's book here, Eros, Magic, and in the Renaissance, it goes into the whole, like, really interesting section on the ether and the notion, especially in the this goes back, a lot of this ties back to antiquity too. Going back to the notion of angelic beings and being made out of, we call them corporeal, they're not material beings, but they're not, like Aquinas would say, pure intellects, right? And I was just teaching out of this here, which is a great book, Father Pomazanski's Orthodox Dogmatic Theology, and he qualifies, we say they're corporeal, bodiless relative to the type of bodies that we have. But it doesn't mean they're not actually composed of some sort of substance, right? And so the fathers believed that, and the ancients did too, and so they speculated that it might be something like ether. And then it goes into a whole wild kind of conversation about, like, the philosophy and science of ether, and tying it into kind of this notion of the angelic realms and stuff like that. So Dang, look at that. There you go. When in doubt, just refer to the picture. Anyways, yeah, great questions. Let's see if we got any more. Element to Davicito donates another $3. Thank you. Suicide is a thing in Canada, but if you question the narrative, they can literally put you in a same. Yeah, isn't that? Again, he goes on to say that an insane asylum and drug you to Zombieland. There's a good video on Voldemort's channel. Everyone knows who that is. Covering it by amazing Polly St. George. All like oldie Russia. Yeah, thank you for the... Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing that's like blows me away is that... And the thing is, people actually still pretend we live in free societies. When you're literally saying stuff and they're arresting you for thought crimes, for speech crimes that they get to decide, drugging you, putting you in mental... It's crazy. All right. We should find some cheerful news. Okay, let's go down. Let's find some other stuff. Some Dugan. You know what? I'm going to put this up just because it's a good quote. I'm not a Duganist, but watch. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Deacons exposed. Working with J. Dyer, KGB Duganist, and Dugan. Knew it! Oh! Can't do it because I already prefaced that it's not true. I can't lie. It's against canon law. You know that? Yeah, I can't lie. Dugan says, never before has individualism been glorified so much, yet at the same time, never before people all over the world been so similar to each other in their behavior, habits, appearances, techniques, tastes, in the pursuit of individual human rights. So there's that rights language again. Should we see what the thread says? It's interesting, huh? It's a good quote. Humanity has lost itself. Soon man will be replaced with post-human, a mutant, cloned android. Wait, what? Really? Guys, look what we just found out in the news. See, this is how important in the Nightly News. This just in. Humanity lost itself and soon will be replaced by the post-human, mutant, cloned android. That's why they've been conditioning us with X-Men the whole time. Right? The mutants. Okay, let's see what else is said on here. 20th century was the God is dead century. 21st century will be man is dead. Whoa, that's profound, huh? Yeah, this stuff makes like communism and Stalinism look like a ride in the park, right? And that's what's so crazy to me is I can't understand that people think that we're not in a worse situation. What is it like that? Freedom! So I always say freedom is a God-given right, but it's not an absolute. As Plato said, too much freedom is slavery. And by the way, that's what the devil sells. That's the devil's con, right? Well, you should be free. Free to do whatever you want. See what I mean? Do you see the connection now? Rights and freedoms. I mean, these people make up these things. I mean, they literally are making up rights that don't even. First of all, I mean, if you take a philosophy course or history course through the kind of Enlightenment, see where that kind of derives out of both natural law and then ideas of kind of like self-ownership and stuff. These people have no idea. Most of the goofus, 98% of the goofus out there talking about my woman's rights and stuff, right? Like this is all like with the midterms, right? There was all the commercials, right? We'll stand for the Constitution and your rights. It's like I already know what that means. You're a pro-abortionist, right? We should have a right to murder people and slavery, right? I mean, how stupid is it? Like, you literally just get to make up whatever. I should have the right to do whatever I want. Well, first of all, that doesn't historically even mean that. You don't know what you're talking about. Rights doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want. There's a very narrow definition, and we even, as Orthodox, reject that. Primarily because this notion of rights is grounded in the idea of self-ownership. And by the way, this came up with the vegan gangs debate with Jim Bob, that he was assigning, vegan gangs was assigning rights to animals. It's like animals can't have rights by the modern Enlightenment term, because rights, I mean, if you look at like Kant, Locke, Rousseau, Hobbes, and the rest of them, three things are required for rights, and they kind of go hand in hand. Autonomy. I mean, you're not completely run by instinct like animals are. Some level of autonomy. Rationality, which then implies for them the third, which would be self-ownership. It's in virtue of your natural endowments, being autonomous and rational, that the first thing they believe that you own is yourself. And therefore all rights come out of that. And then Locke talks about, like, well, if I own myself and then I own my labor and I mix my labor in the earth that's not owned by something else, then it becomes what? Private property. And there's all of this stuff. Now, as Orthodox Christians, we would reject that because you don't own yourself. And what's silly about this in libertarianism too is that it's not even clear at what point you would own yourself. Because, I mean, legally speaking, children are not fully autonomous or fully rational, and they're considered not just mere property, because they are they're rational and autonomous as well, at least some level, but maybe not fully developed. But they're considered property, right? Children, even law kind of operates this way. Like, children don't own themselves; the parents own them, right? Not in the sense that you own a book or a piece of wood or something like that, because that stuff's not autonomous and rational. And so, doesn't mean you can do everything you want. But do you see the kind of conundrums that you can get yourself into? Where does it begin? And if they don't have rights, and this is why the abortion debates in libertarianism are just ridiculous too. You have these two sides, like, reject it. I reject rights language. I don't care about rights. I reject your starting point. You have duties. You're made in the image of God. Now, does that mean, again, So they can't, the vegan can't even fulfill that on the Enlightenment terms of rights. Does that mean they're not part of my moral considerations? And this is, the Vegan Gains was doing this dialectic. Well, if you don't believe that they have rights, the same as human beings, so you're saying that you could just torture them. It's like, slow down, buddy. Like, nobody's saying that. I mean, unless you're, sociopath, or like something's wrong with you. They're part of our moral considerations. They don't reach the same standard. Like, guess what? There's different standards and moral considerations. Right? I consider human beings higher in my moral consideration because they're made in the image of God. They're autonomous and they're rational. Even in potency, right? Not just when they're doing it or have achieved the level of the age of reason. Because otherwise, we'd be like, oh, see, he went to sleep. He's not being rational and autonomous. His subconscious took over, and he's not. It's like, so again, we have these, and Aristotle's really good about this in what's called first and second actuality and its corresponding potencies. And that, for example, first actuality, I know I'm taking a detour, but this is kind of a fun conversation. So first potency, let's say I haven't learned math, but I have a potential to learn math, but I haven't actually obtained it. So I have a first potency, but I don't have a first actuality until I go learn the math. Now I have it. Now I have first actuality, but I have second potency. It means now I have also the ability to exercise and do it. So I become mathematical, so I'm first actuality, even though I'm not actualizing that, that intellectual, the state of character, or wisdom, or whatever Then, when I decide to, because I have first actuality, I have the understanding of math, now I can actually do it, would be second actuality. And there's something to be said about that within the soul, too. That you not doing second actuality, i.e. rational and autonomous activities, doesn't mean that you're not a rational, autonomous being made in the image of God. In the womb. Means you haven't reached second actuality, but you have that first actuality in the soul. So again, it's a lack of nuances in these people's reasoning. What can I tell you? People aren't thinking clearly through these things. All right, let's see what else we have going on in any more super chats or comments in the comment section. Oh, also the thing I was going to bring up with vegan gains. Oh, you want to go that way? If you want to say that animals have rights, why? Well, he creates some arbitrary standard. Oh, sentience, right? The ability to experience pain or something like that. Consciousness or something like that is what makes you have rights. And that's what makes them moral considerations. Well, big problem there. Because nature, I mean, non-animalistic nature, right? The vegetative, ecology, plants, then by your standard don't have rights. And I don't believe they have rights either, but it's a problem for vegans. Why? Well, the only thing that keeps them acting quote-unquote moral or prevent them from being immoral, i.e. remember that you can't torture, can't eat, is if something has rights. i.e. it's sentient, it's conscious. But nature, the vegetative ecology, isn't. So they have no arguments that against that you basically, well, why can't we just do anything we want to nature? Like radiate the soil, right? Go scorched earth. That there's no sense, and I'm not preaching, leftist green ecology, but we know as Orthodox, we're liturgical and Eucharistic in our ecology. God gives us these as gifts, and we care for them, the entire planet, and we work of the people, liturgical, right? And offer it back, just like we do the bread, the Eucharist. Eucharist is Thanksgiving, and thanks, because it's the parable of the talents. What are you doing with the talents? What are you doing with the gifts that God gave you? You burying them, returning back exactly the same? Or are you doing something divine and godlike where you make more of it, more than what you were given, and you give it back and say, thank you, this is my act of love. Because I didn't just hold it, I did something with it. And love is not a word, it's not a feeling, it's not a desire, it's an action. And it's sacrifice and it's hard work. And this is what we do. And that's our kind of ecology. But now think about this with the vegan. What are they going to say? You could destroy the planet. Scorched earth, right? Why? Because they've arbitrarily defined rights, which is already a joke. But they've arbitrarily assigned that to only sentient beings. And that's the only moral consideration. So they can't actually say anything about ecology, the morality of ecology. So another flaw of veganism, but again, we would say no, animals don't have rights. Human beings have duties. And the duty that is explained. To be Eucharistic and liturgical in everything in the world in our lives. All right, enough of that, right? I'm surprised we haven't any trolls coming in and be like, word salad. Did we get any trolls in here? Everybody's been really nice tonight. This is... Just reading some of your comments. All right. Let's go back. Let's find some more material. This is really good. Yeah, I'm about to skip some of this stuff. Iced tea's on. I want to see what this is. If I think of the...
Priority with Instagram. What the fuck? I would
say Instagram. I haven't met or found a man yet that can...
Maybe we should watch this. This is pretty crazy. Let's talk about social media being addictive. Iced tea can be pretty base sometimes. Yo, this is iced tea. What up? This is determining real. What was Ice-T's song? I used to listen when I was a kid. Colors. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of the jungle, just the gangsters talking. I can't believe I remember that. Alright, let's see what Ice-T is.
Instagram or a long-term boyfriend? Yeah. Let's see.
Instagram.
Oh! Dude. What?
Instagram? Okay. Oh, you guys getting red pill right now. Okay. What about you?
Probably Instagram.
Of course.
Priority with Instagram. What the fuck?
I would say Instagram. I haven't met or found a man yet that can give me what Instagram is.
No, this is why this show is necessary. Do you see how all these girls are in a relationship with Instagram instead of a real man? They're addicted to attention instead of love.
Yeah, great point. I want to talk about. I'm glad we found this. This is actually proven. This Nightly Nous is proving to be really good. I don't know about what you guys are thinking, but so I know all you Orthodox, especially the young lads out there, and I actually posted, we'll go to my profile real quick, so I can show you some of the, I always kind of use humor. And if you haven't followed me, go ahead and follow me. I got my certified anti-jabby record card. Keep this record card, which contains evidence that you were rationally inoculated against scientism and technocratic propaganda. That is the real news right there. Yeah, this one right here. So I found this, because I live in Montana, same as it ever was. So here is circa 1901, Wives Wanted. And of course, he's got the cute kitty here. He's like, I love cats. Come be... I mean, well, this guy's got a chicken, right? Is that a chicken? What the heck? But we still have the same problem. We've got some wonderful Orthodox lads out there. I call them ortho lads. And, they're having a hard time finding good ortho lassies. And, it's difficult, especially in Montana, because, there's only 1 million people in the entire state, and, look how big the state of Montana is. It's not like when I lived in Southern California. It was in one sense, a lot easier. I mean, it was like Orthodox parish, like almost every 2 cities, like around. And, I remember doing that thing with the helping Father Josiah trying him out with the love connection. And I learned a lot too through that. And then I worked a lot in with Father Constantine and the other priests, like Yao, the Young Orthodox, and do different events like bowling or Orthodoxy on Tap and stuff like that. And there was a lot of kind of potential. I always kind of had the idea more of, I wanted it to be kind of more organic, like, hey, we just go out and like Orthodox bowling night or something like that. I had plans like Orthodox Knott's Berry Farm. And so that the singles wouldn't actually, get the anxiety that they were being set up. Because that was one of the difficult things with Father Josiah's love connection. First of all, they had to send in like resumes. And, guys approached very different than girls. Girls felt kind of intimidated by that and stuff like that. And then everybody's looking at your profile and stuff. And it's kind of just, in some sense, unnatural. And then, of course, their concern, which actually ended up being true, there were more guys than gals. But I was thinking, a much better way would just be in a natural setting where you're hanging out with your fellow Orthodox. And me, the clergy, right, which is always kind of a duty, the clergy, working behind the scenes. Like, oh, hey, did you talk to, what's interesting, don't you guys, have some of the same things? You like that song, right? And gently, not coercively, putting the pieces together to allow something to happen naturally. That was kind of always my deacon matchmaking business proposal that I wanted to. But there was one thing that I learned, and I've been learning from talking to a lot of you, is that exactly what this said, like, look, I'm an X generation, so, I was brought up, I'm a TV baby, and then, video games came in, when I was, somewhere from 7 to 12 and stuff like that. So even that was introduced. The internet comes in later, So these are things that I didn't actually grow up with. They were introduced. If you're millennial or Z generation, you were born in that. Like, you know nothing but that world. And that does something, especially as, as the Internet of Things and more of the stuff's connected into social media. A great book is Larche, The New Media, that you should read. But what happens is this is the virtual world. It's an imitation of the real world. But there's been an inversion, and now the virtual world becomes the real world and the standard by which you judge what would be the real world. You see, we spend all our time in unreality. Again, this is the tricks of the demons to get you to take out real estate in imaginary places that don't exist, right? And part of that is, and it's not inherently that technology is bad, but it's the technocratic, it's the structure and what's being done within the motivating forces and ideologies. And so what I've noticed is most of you've learned your relationships, and the majority of your relationships are online, social media. They're on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and all the other ones that I can mention. So that has become the surrogate and then become the real standard for relationships. And so what I noticed is that, like, speaking with guys, like a lot of the young guys, is that there's no problem talking with women online. And then what I saw, for example, like at Apologetics, Love Connection, and other places too, even, the stuff that I noticed up at Orthodox Montanica, is in the real world, they didn't know how to talk. Supposedly they even knew the girl online had been speaking, but in the real world, that was foreign, and they didn't know what to do. And I was just thinking about, we were just watching what Ice-T put up, that look what they said. The artificial relationship becomes the real. They actually prefer Instagram to real relationships. And not only that, it's just like the pornography too, it prevents them from being able to actually have real relationships. How scary is that? So, I've talked to, and you know what? Abbott Tree Farmer is supposed to, speaking with him, we're supposed to be doing streams soon. Maybe this is something we could talk about. But we want to help you. We want good relationships. We want to see success in marriages and people find each other. And we're, as clergy, presented with new challenges. And we've got to figure out a way to navigate around that, to kind of help you. That's our job. So anyways, just a thought there. How are we doing on 32? Let's just see. 1 second. $33 people. All right, let's see. That was a good one. What else can we find? Let's go back. How sad is that? I mean, that just really kind of illustrated exactly the state that we're in. And it's interesting, there's something almost similar to like prison inmates. Like, they've been in so long that they're enslaved, but they don't know what to do when they're let out of the prison. And they often, they're freaked out, right? It's like they don't, their whole life was structured in a certain way with being in prison, lacking freedoms and stuff, that they can't handle the responsibility or that structure being changed. And so they often, you find, commit crimes to get back in. Oh, dear Lord. Tell me about the World Cup. What a weird clash of cultures. It's really kind of interesting to watch. So we've got this goof here. Let's see. These poor people. I mean, you just gotta almost pity them. It's like crisis. God forgive them, they don't know what they're doing. Man ran to the field during World Cup match in Qatar, waving pride flag, of course he did, and wearing a Save Ukraine shirt in respect for Iranian women. Let's see what the comments. I mean, this is coming from the people that are saying tolerance, right? The most intolerant. Oh, no cultural appropriation. Be tolerant of all. Well, they go into another society and shove their degeneracy down Arabs' throats who don't. What's the famous phrase? For, hold on a second. For thee, not for me. Right? Exactly. Hypocrites. And you got the whole thing. You got the UK taking bending the knee. Surprise, surprise. You got Germany covering their mouths to protest skill. Well, surprise, a culture would think skills is immoral. Look at this, dude. What was the other one that... Oh, U.S. changed the Iranian flag, right? So now sports isn't even sports, right? It's all... I mean... Tell me you look at this stuff, it's not all orchestrated. None of this stuff's organic. I mean, that's the thing you should realize. It's not like it's just people like, oh, we're just waking up to the right side of history. It's like, dude, you were brainwashed, and all of this is funded, and now they're using sports and the World Cup to shove down their moral phobia, because that's what it is. It's natural and moral phobia. They're normal phobia, right? Down everybody else's throat. So notice they're intolerant. They're the most religious people. They're proselytizers. And they're actually the fascists, right? They're, by any means necessary, get control of social media, academia, and the state, and force and brainwash these people and the entire world. So it's not enough that it's happening here. We got to do it to the whole world. So it's just really kind of interesting to see, though, that the West clash with the rest of the cultures. Isn't that interesting? That's funny. So I don't know what you guys have been thinking about. But now they're saying the U.S. should be kicked out. They should. I actually don't put up with this stuff at all. Yeah, well, and he's wearing a Superman. Total virtue signaling, orchestrated, brainwashed. What are your guys' thoughts? Yeah, that's a good one. The only cup I'm concerned with the inexhaustible one. Yeah, I don't follow, I haven't been watching the You go on the Nightly Nous on Twitter and stuff like that, and then you see all this stuff. Is the reverb still? Is it switching back and forth? I'll fix that stuff later. I don't have to bother with it. I was working for about half an hour before going. I couldn't really get the audio to be exactly perfect. I don't know exactly what's going on with the situation. Generation knee bender, yeah. It's absurd, dude. And the thing is, here's what they try to do. It's a minority. And the rest of the non-Western countries should realize this. Not everybody in the West is for this. In fact, not the majority. But what happens when you monopolize corporations, so big corp, when you monopolize the academy and the public schools, the university, when you monopolize all the media, right, you can give the appearance of normalcy, right? But this is what we all believe, right? The social pressure that I've talked so much about, that the founders of scientism, like Comte, had talked about as necessary for kind of conformity, that everybody's on. You don't want to be the outsider, right? So we've got the Skittles pride flags everywhere. See, we all support. Just come on, get on board. You don't want to be the freak, right? Well, you can do that if you have a monopolization on all the media and all the information, and how people learn information. And then you apply law too, right? Well, if you call somebody a groomer, or you call somebody out for pushing immorality or something like that and forcing on, well, that's hate speech. That's whatever word you want. It's racism. It's whatever. And you're going to jail. You're getting sued. You're getting this, right? So what's interesting, though, is to see how, it needs to be a pushback, and it's good to see this is happening at most cultures don't believe this. And here's another interesting thing, too, about the kind of the Skittles stuff. We're always told that we're being bigots and hateful and stuff like that. It's like, do you not realize that every major religion condemns that activity is destructive to the individual and society? You should see what Buddhists do. That's what's really funny is these American Buddhists, right, that are all for. Buddhists believe that's like bad karma, and the monks will throw. There's stories of them throwing off somebody, like people, off the cliff because they're correcting the karma. Like they actually think they're doing a good thing for the. So Buddhism doesn't accept it. Hinduism doesn't accept it. Islam doesn't accept it. Judaism is not monolithic. Hasidic Judaism doesn't condone that. I know that they might actually have some problems within their community, I heard, but they clearly don't. Historic Judaism, the ancient Hebrews didn't. What religion has? What major religion? So they're all wrong, right? Like everybody's. Well, I guess the Mormons just changed their position on. The prophet came out. Did you see this one? Stop me if you heard this one. Prophet comes out and now is accepting. So that's going to be really interesting for Orthodox proselytization and apologetics too, to reach out to the Mormons, like we had the Roman Catholics with their own kind of failures within their religion. It's time for us to kind of step up the game there. Thoughts, comments, any more super chats? So anyways, I just find it interesting what's going on in the World Cup. And again, like I've talked with my friend, you guys are soccer players, play soccer. You're a musician, play music. Quit talking politics, religion, and ethics, and do your job, right? Nobody paying you, actors, to do non-acting stuff. Get up there and act. Quit being a spokesperson in areas you have no idea what you're talking about. Which again just goes and shows that it's not them. They're tools of the elites and ultimately the evil one to spread this destructive. And no, it's not hateful. We're the only ones that love these people. I don't want people that I love to do things that hurt themselves and others. I mean, think about like with kids. Oh, I want to do drugs and drink every night and get drunk, Mommy. No, that's not good for you. Oh, you're a bigot, Mommy. Oh yeah, the mommy's a bigot, right? Well, we're kind of moving into this, right? Where it's like, now the state's going to arrest the parents because they were morally concerned and looking out for their kids. Why? Because freedom. Freedom's absolutely, you should be able to do whatever you want, right? Total Aleister Crowleyan OTO satanic nonsense. No, like we say things to our children and say, don't do this because we know it's going to hurt you. Most of us, I think, understand that and always have. So why does it change when we talk about our neighbor? You shouldn't do this. Oh, that's hateful. You're a bigot. No, I'm not. I'm the only one out here like that actually cares and loves and is concerned with what you're doing. Anyways, my thoughts. No more super chats. Probably going to end pretty soon. Let's see if we can find a few more. So you want to do more of these? Nightly Nous? What is this one? This is crazy. I'm not going to put that one up there. Okay. Let me find Orthodox Christianity. Put some stuff up. Here's Syrian Girl with this more Fuentes and Kanye. I don't want to even get involved in that. Oh, dude, this is rad. Look at this. So not all news has to be controversy. Let's maybe even end with some of this good. American architect Andrew Gould's film New World Byzantine. I didn't even know that. Oh, Firm. I was like, I didn't know there was a film. Firm. New World Byzantine designs beautiful hermitage at the Holy Cross in West Virginia. This Rococo church served predominantly in English-speaking community that fell in love with traditional towering Russian cathedrals. That looks super rad. Look at that. Is that a CGI? Is that even real? Is it like, you know when you look at stuff that's so beautiful that it's like, oh, designed. So they probably haven't done it. It probably is CGI. Yeah, because you can see, I'm like, it just looks a bit too... But that is cool. That's an awesome design. Somebody says, however, in remote... Oh, it's the same person. However, in remote West Virginia, it's not efficient to build a Russian cathedral. Andrew asks, how does one efficiently build a church that's capacious, authentic, and beautiful, but not too expensive? Can we make it look like an American traditional Orthodox? Yeah, that's what's kind of cool too, is that you're getting you're getting some blends of kind of an American or ethos in there that's not overturning the traditions, speaking architecturally there. And that's a way to do it, right? We've always talked about, eventually, there is going to be an American Orthodox. It's going to take time, and it's going to be its own kind of unique blend, like every country. I mean, look at every country. The icons, the traditional Orthodox countries, the icons, the architecture of the church buildings, they're all distinct to those cultures, right? And that took time too, and it'll take time for us. But this is kind of, and it would have to be organic and not a top down. And it'd be a blending and embracing and learning from the traditions from the old world, but without overturning that. So you see that fine kind of balance, and that's why it has to happen kind of organically. So he's kind of getting there. I mean, we've seen when, like in New York, when that goes wrong, right, with the Greek. So that's typical kind of, right there, the mass, obviously the chandelier. It looks very much, actually this design looks very much like Elder Ephraim's monastery in Candelia, Texas, Holy Archangels. So it'd be interesting if he picked out some of that. It's almost identical to, now maybe some of you know that some that look a lot like this too, but that looks like Holy Archangels to me. So we probably got some ideas from there. And Holy Archangels is a fairly newer one of Elder Ephraim's monasteries. White House is keeping a close eye on Twitter. Better gotta shut this off. Like, this just in. New news channel. The Nightly Nous, Deacon Ananias. January 6th, Insurrector. With his new news channel, right? You just see the headlines on the. But that's cool. I don't know. I like this. Was there any other photos? Okay, here's adapting the construction system of a basilica. He applied it to the cruciform plan with a central dome. This makes for a church that's recognizably Orthodox. See, there you go. But with a hint of the open-airy architecture of Italy. Maybe there, but then Romania has some of that stuff too. Man, this is really cool. The open area of Italy. What do you see Italian in? I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about there. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Yeah, it's gonna be a cool church when it's done. Well, guys, how long have we been going? What's the time say? $2? That's good. So you guys like this? We do more of this stuff. I think Jay and I are going to do a stream on Tuesday covering some of the Roman Catholic apologists, like tops, why they're not orthodoxy, and kind of critiquing those. Yeah. Thank you for all the mods. Oh, John says Palladian Italian architectural influence. Interesting. yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the kind of evolution of American Orthodoxy. Again, it's so new, it's going to take time, but things like this starting to even emerge is really promising and good. Not donates $25. Thank you so much. Protecting the innocence of children is a big action to the depraved. Yeah, exactly. Get on the right side of the hysteria or else. By the way, it's really cool. My neighbor has this bumper sticker that's like, I think she's in the nursing school at the college I teach at. But she has this wonderful sticker, and it says, "Save the children." That's it. It doesn't say anything else. And I'm like, that's cool. And it's just so crazy because liberals on the left, they're so preachy. Like, they're the ones that have like 1 million different bumper stickers on there, right? Just like, it's always... And this is how you know that, again, I can critique stuff in conservatism, stuff like that, but I don't think the two are moral equivalents. And so I'm just going to focus on liberalism and the left and stuff like that. But as some person said, they did some video, the reason why they left it is because it's insincere. What they preach is not what they actually practice or even concerned with. This is why we talk about virtue signaling. And so you can see this too. It's that everybody should be free to do what they're... Don't shove your religion down my throat. Why shove my religion down your throat? Oh, tolerance. Well, I'm intolerant. You're a Nazi fascist. While I embrace the exact things that I'm critical of. First of all, they don't even know what the politics, the historic politics of what those movements actually are. So we just know that they weaponize words. And that's one thing about the kind of postmodern kind of attitude, is that these people aren't concerned with the meanings and accuracy and precision of the meanings of words. There's, as I always say, there's sorcery words. They're to cast a spell. They're power words. They're weaponized words. You keep them ambiguous and vague and pack whatever you want in. Nobody knows what that word means. But it doesn't matter, right? Because once you're labeled it, you're the leper now. And once you're labeled it, well, you're going to go to jail. There's no, right, coming back from that. No, you lost your job. You can't. So they're weaponized words. And so they don't care about what those mean, because ultimately they're what? They're relativists. They're the Glaucons out of Plato's Republic. What is justice? The strongest, right? They're Nietzschean, that they're beyond good and evil, right? There is no morality. It's will. It's power games. And one way just to realize this is that, I mean, how absurd that, like, the whole campaign going on everywhere for the last 3 years, we have to stop misinformation. Think about that. How crazy that is. I'm like, since when? Like, the whole world's been full of misinformation. All you guys is wrong. Right? When people ask me, who's your favorite philosopher? I'm like, they're all wrong. I mean, sometimes they get it right, and some are better than others, right? Some are kind of more important to, historically, in terms of the history of ideas to learn about, and but they're all wrong. Most people are wrong. And so when are we, we've always kind of accepted that. When are we all of a sudden concerned with stopping the spread of misinformation? It's like, all you are spreading misinformation. You're not Orthodox, right? Guarantee you don't have the correct epistemology, don't understand philosophy of science, virtue ethics, or ethics in general, like in work. I'm not speaking to you, the audience, but you know what I mean. You out there, hey, you guys, and my neighbors, right? You guys. Open the window. You're all wrong. I'm here to stop the spread of misinformation. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on a campaign. I'm going to actually print out. I'm Father Dr. Deacon Ananias, and I'm a professor in clergy, and I'm qualified, and I'm stopping the spread of misinformation in your household. Huh? I'm going to put it on all my neighbors' doors. Then I'm going to put it in every faculty member. You've been found judged and found wanting. You're guilty of being wrong. Why? Because I know. Because I'm the arbitrary of misinformation, and I'm going to stop that. I mean, how absurd! Like, so now non-philosophers, right? And I don't even trust philosophers because they're just as crazy as. But at least in principle, that's like the people that are dedicated to the science of thinking correctly. They don't even go to them, right? You know who we're going to find? We're going to find people who aren't scientists, right? Gil Bates. We're going to find corporations that know nothing about. Well, corporations have to hire us philosophers to teach business ethics, for crying out loud. Doctors too, right? My God, son, what is this called? You mean ethics? Yes. You mean we can't do? It's like you can't cut off his arm for no reason. You can't do physician-assisted suicide. Like, I'm sorry to tell you that, right? But now the philosophers, like I said, I don't even trust them. But like, I'm in an ideal world, right? Like in principle, as far as a discipline, it would be kind of left to them, or the priests, right? The moral, talking about virtue epistemology, the good man, the one who's acquired the spiritual virtues, like should be the one telling people about misinformation, the fact checkers. But it's not. It's all the unqualified people, the last people we think. So I think that's funny. And second of all, that's really interesting. So for all you people that don't believe in truth, you're all a bunch of relativists, now are like super concerned with truths and facts and misinformation. Aren't buying it. Not buying it. Spotted the con right there. Right? I mean, think about it. They don't care. They don't believe in truth. The whole thing is smoke and mirrors. Oh yeah, we're concerned with truth and saving lives and the spread of misinformation and this is a threat to our democracy, right? And it's all lies. These people don't believe in. And I know we all have in us a bit of that hypocrisy, but the left and liberals just exemplify that. I mean, they're so great. I mean, I can't think of another political party that or movement that does that. And there's obviously historical reasons going into that. But what are your thoughts on anybody? Hello? Fact checkers, dude. I just can't believe it. And these people still believe we live in a free and progressive society. Oh, those terrible Germans, those terrible Russians, those terrible people in Qatar. Just what an oppressive regime. Those terrible South American countries. Look what. You know what it is? Total prowess, by the way, but it's what I always say, kind of, and it's all throughout the West, but it's American moral exceptionalism. Well, of course, we're just born. Doesn't matter what we do, we're always right. Isn't that kind of ingrained in us? It's moral exceptionalism. Of course, it doesn't matter. There is no objective truth, but obviously the objective truth is whatever we say it is. That's what we got to police the world and shove it down everybody else's throat. That's why they're always the bad guys. And we're always the good guys. We're always on the right side of history. I mean, how crazy is that? going to go watch Team America. America! Come to save. I forget, I can't sing it because it's got a bunch of swear words in it, but I'm not actually going to watch that. I'm going to turn on the Hallmark channel and just watch a nice... By the way, you know what's cool? Now that Thanksgiving's over, and Advent fast starts today, everybody's getting the Christmas music out, Christmas lights, and Christmas movies. Christmas is really such a special time, isn't it? It's like, it doesn't matter how much the world tries to secularize it, the presence of Christ and the joy, it just spreads everywhere. Everybody, it's like, everybody participates in it. You know what I mean? Knowing like the joy of Christ coming into the world. It's really amazing. And you can feel it. You can feel it in the air, in the people. And they don't even know. They're still saying Xmas or Happy Holidays. By the way, your response, you know where holidays comes from, holy days. So when somebody says Happy Holidays to you, I said, God bless you, Happy Holy Day to you as well. Just put them in, don't let them secularize it. Anyways, what do we got here? Who is... See, Sahih Luke, are you talking to me or... I think you're talking to Nada. Sorry, I'm following. Okay, Nada, good. God bless you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Bert Purcell sends $10. Thank you. Good stream. Thank you. God bless you guys. I think this was a success. I think we should do more of these. And I think the way that I'm doing it too, where I'm not just simply scrolling through, because again, there's vulgar stuff on there. There's stuff that get me in trouble. Inappropriate images. It's the internet. Like it stinks. Like what can you do? So what I can do is just kind of comb through, find something like that, and put it on. I'll try to fix my audio. I apologize about that. As far as I can tell, there's some issue going back between the screen capture and the camera. And then it's a little echoey, but it's not terrible, right? I'm going to try to get that taken care of. Well, the problem was I could get rid of it, but the volume went down so low. So I was trying to kind of, real fast within a half an hour, find that kind of happy medium where it's like, it's not perfect, but kind of a compromise. So forgive me, brothers, for the annoying audio. Thank you so much for your support. Please like, share the stream, encourage people to actually subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, because again, I think the algorithms are hiding. It's just kind of been plateaued, and so let's get those numbers up, right? As Gil Bates always says. God bless you guys. Christ is coming to be born, and it's such a joyous time, and I pray that all of you have a wonderful fast in the sense of a real hard struggle so that you can find what you need to work on, and that there be blessings and lessons throughout these, if you're on old calendar 40 days. And keep me in your prayers. My love and prayers for you, and for peace for the world. And God bless you guys, and we'll have more on. Okay. Blessed evening. Bye-bye.